Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Oh boy. Louis, Jesus Christ, Louis. Shout out to Louis Conyer. Y'all check out his channel. Link is in the description. Link is in the description box. Wow. Okay. All right. Is it black men's fault? What is black men's fault? Is it black men's fault? You know, our mere existence. Oops. Is it black men's fault, the state of the black community? That was the question posed on Clubhouse by one of the brothers, or not a Black Manosphere brother, but I guess one of these brothers that um is in community with these women on Clubhouse. So he frequents their spaces, and so he hosted a Clubhouse room, and the question was, is it black men's fault, the state of the black community? And surprisingly, there were a number of black women that said yes, but not really all their fault. There are obviously black women that said yes, it's all their fault. And to those people, I say, y'all don't know what the hell y'all talking about. Is white racist society's fault. It is white society's fault. Period. Black people's issue is that black people are inappropriately responding to a toxic environment that includes black women. The fact that y'all talk about the black community, you know, it's frightening to me to have Nixon, yes, Tricky Dick himself, former President Nixon, give a speech called A Colony Within a Nation, and he's speaking about the black community. Now, while he's speaking about the black community and saying we're going to try to do our very best to make sure the black community is not a colony within a nation, he's doing his very best to make sure the black community is a colony, a colonized colony within a nation. Right? It's frightening to have a president speak that way 50 years ago, 50 plus years ago at this point, actually, and to have black people in 2024, the 21st century, speak about the black community as if it, there we go, as if it exists in a vacuum, right? As if the black community exists in a vacuum, and as if the black community hasn't been subject to history. You know, white colonialism, capture, slavery, Jim Crow, the targeting of black men and boys, black women and girls to a certain extent, and what the fallout of that is. Wow. Right? Passport OG, I only got 45 minutes in. And Passport OG says, how do you stand 2 hours of that, Z? I'm going to finish it, but I only got 45 minutes in. Shout out to Louis. Shout out to Louis Conyer. I will be finishing it, so there might be a part 2 to this. Right? It might get more interesting as I listen. But the question itself, and the fact that I listened to, I think, all of the panelists, at least up to about the 45-minute mark. I got actually 47 minutes in, but about the 45-minute mark, I didn't hear anybody say anything about white society. Black people, I'm sorry. I am sorry to inform you that this weird ass form of autonomy that y'all talk like, it's not accurate. I understand we want to feel this sense of power and destiny in our hands. It makes sense. I get it, but that's not how or where we live. That's not the society we live in. That's not the history that black people, largely in the West, but definitely black people in America have. I get it, but no. Right? Right? Trail says Z doing the dirty work. No, I definitely think Louis doing the dirty work, and I'm assisting. Right? Shout out to Louis. Right? Oh boy. This is white racist society's fault. This is white society's fault. You know, when we talk about the state of the black community, last time I checked, the Latinos are not that far off, and white folks, definitely working class, working poor, lower middle class, etc. White folks aren't that far off of the Latino pace. So Latinos aren't that far off of black. The working class, pretty much everybody in white society under solidly middle class isn't that far off also. It's a class game. It's an economic game. It's a race game. Y'all are weird. Y'all are weird. Right? Speaking about the black community as if the black community exists in a vacuum, what are y'all doing? What are y'all talking about? Right? Oh boy. Huh? This screams anti-blackness. You could attempt to frame it or phrase it however you want. That screams anti-blackness. We have so much history that shows this, and I'm not speaking. We don't even necessarily have to go to history 100 years ago, right? We don't have to speak about history 50 years ago. We don't even necessarily have to speak about history 25 years ago. We could start in this century alone. Is or is not Edward Blum attempting to, and not even attempting to, it looks like it's working, shred black women receiving assistance from NGOs, from local government, etc., etc. That's happening now. That's not black men attempting to sabotage black women. That's a white man attempting to sabotage black women. Black women, that's the sabotage that happens to black men. It's happening to you right now. Shout out to all the black women. I think it's black men's fault. It's primarily black men's fault. I won't say it's all of black men's fault. I think black women have a hand in it, but because black men are supposed to be the leaders, I think it's mainly black men's fault. Meanwhile, right? And shout out to the brother Kevin Deal. Shout out to the brother Kevin Deal, because yes, I did see that, right? That they're going through with it. For the most part, it seems as if, yeah, that's the end of that fund to help black women, right? To help black women. And so we're witnessing that right now. And by the way, this is a reckless stream. Y'all already know how this goes. We're witnessing that right now. And yet we're having a conversation about whether the state of the black community is black men's fault, while you witness white folks target black women specifically. Huh? Uh-oh. White folks shred affirmative action. That was in black men. Who has benefited from affirmative action the most over the past 50 years? Black men or black women? We know it's white women. But outside of that, within the black community, black men or black women? And white folks shredded that. That was not black men. Is it black men's fault, the state of the black community? No, it's white racist society's fault. You know those white men that you keep on comparing black men to? Huh? You know those white women that you wish you were? Strauss said Clarence Thomas. Yeah, you know they'll blame Clarence Thomas. One Supreme Court judge, the one black man, they'll blame him. Yeah, that's it. Right? Huh. So the question itself is a problem. The answers were a problem. Right? Yeah, I saw that. And Passport OG says, Indigo, I skipped to the 45-minute mark and listened to them talk about single women following the leadership of married men. Problem. Once again, problem. Right? Z, why is it a problem? It's a problem because either you want black male leadership or you don't. And if you don't have it, then you don't get, it's funny, they were talking about leadership benefits. Well, if you don't have black men leadership, then you don't get the benefit of the leadership. The responsibility, watching women take responsibility for things they think aren't their fault or is their fault and they realize it is, they just don't want it. They don't want the consequences of messing up. Watching them have to deal with that is fascinating. Right? It's fascinating. So, like I said, I got 45 minutes in. I'm going to listen to the rest of it, but I wanted to pause and kind of give my commentary, preliminary commentary, Z, because you get the word out. Yeah, right. But my initial commentary, because I think the question itself is a problem. But okay, fine. Okay, interesting question. The answers. You're give or take 12 to 13% of the population in a white neo-colonial nation, and yet we're having a conversation on whether the state of the black community is black men's fault, as if white folks don't exist, as if white society doesn't exist, as if just the term black mean that there's, wait a minute, an opposing to black white, and that within itself doesn't give you the answer. Uh-oh. Huh? Y'all so want to blame black men or have an issue with black men in a vacuum. Y'all didn't even acknowledge anything about white racist society while you're living the consequences of how white racist society sabotaged the black community. I'm not talking about 1866. I'm not speaking about 1966. I'm talking about 2024, you know, like today. Train tracks, train tracks, train tracks. Huh? Literally like today. Like, well, actually yesterday. Huh? What are y'all talking about? Huh? The black community is suffering because there are black people, well, really white racist society targeting, but there are black people that are inappropriately responding to the toxic environment. And in that inappropriate response are these type of questions. Who's at fault? Who's to blame here? And let's not talk about, you know, white society. Okay, yeah, that's it. Right? Wow. And even the conversation about leadership, because KFC says here the panel was crazy. How do you declare that men are the leaders but make all your own decisions without male guidance or leadership? It's just about blaming only black men and absolving women. Yeah, well, that's that on and off patriarchy thing, right? That's that one foot in feminism and one foot in patriarchy, where feminism is women get to be autonomous and make their own decisions and do their own thing. But if things go left, then it's black men's fault, right? So it's the one foot in, one foot out patriarchy. One foot in patriarchy, one foot in feminism and female power and female independence and female autonomy. Unless unless everything goes left. If anything goes left, then of course that's black men's fault. Right? Indigo says, dude asks whack questions. I think he was reading questions off of off of something, a pamphlet or something, off of something. He might have been reading the questions off of the screen or something like that, because there were a few times when he was like, oh yeah, I didn't give any details to that or whatever. So I wonder if he's the one who came up with the questions, right? But it's one foot in patriarchy and one foot in feminism. A split Jim says, hokey pokey patriarchy, hysterical. One foot in and one foot out, exactly. So you're listening to a panel of black women grapple with being a black woman in an anti-black society, and not address that they're black women. They are black women in an anti-black society, at least not as of the 45 or so minute mark, which is frightening, because even if it does get addressed, the fact that it took them at this present point past 45 minutes to address it is fascinating. So even if later on they do get around to saying, well, we, you know, anti-blackness and, you know, the European beauty standard and white oppression and right? Even if they finally do get around to it, it's after the 45-minute mark. And the brother opened up the panel pretty damn early, so it's not like he had a whole lot of commentary or monologue for 20 and 30 minutes. He's not Z, right? He didn't pull a Mr. Z. Right? He opened the panel pretty damn early. So let's say 40 minutes. So 40 minutes or so, and nobody's addressing, the elephant in the room. Wait. The owner of the room. Goddamn. Black people, that does not mean that you individually don't have a certain level of autonomy over your own individual life. But as Black people, as a group in this nation, in the US of A, on planet Earth, in the 21st century, Black people as a group, 12 to 13% of the population, in an anti-Black society, a neo-colonial society, right? Literally, the land that you live on, they slaughtered indigenous folks to get it. Enslaved Black folks to make it profitable. Subjugated other people around the world to steal their resources to maintain that economy. And for that to be the existence of the US, and then you're speaking about, is it Black men's fault, the state of the Black community? Are you serious right now? Viet Cong, so brother, not your war. That was 50 years ago. And Black women are saying, yeah, actually, the state of the Black community is their fault. Wow. Huh? Wow. You had during the was it Ferguson? I want to say it was during Ferguson when you had Palestinians communicating with Black protesters in Ferguson about what to use for pepper spray, what to use for the different gas that they were using, and just different tactics that they found that are beneficial when they're doing their thing in that part of the world that they call Israel right now. And it's interesting to see the Palestinians understand what's going on with Black people in America, but Black women don't understand what's going on with Black people in America. What? Huh? Wow. So are Black women saying that they are so angered by Black men that Black men didn't make them rich and elite white women sociopolitically, that they can't see past their anger and resentment at Black men and pay attention to the larger picture, the bigger picture? Is that what Black women are saying? Right? Even when we have this conversation about community, what it seems as if Black women want is Black men to practice community being cleanup men, being in case of emergency break glass men. It's her life, it's her autonomy, right? My body, my choice, until it goes left. And where's the man to pick up the pieces? First of all, aren't you infantilizing yourself? Secondly, who's signing up for that? Wait, let's do this. If you think Black men, your issue with Black men is that Black men want to assume leadership role, then it should be their job to sign up for that. You have to show me the men on planet Earth that are willing to sign up for that. First, white men, Latino men, Asian men, Middle Eastern and Arab men, huh? Indigenous men. Which men are signing up for that? Especially men with choices and options. Huh? What men are signing up for that? That's the question. So is it black men's fault? Right? Is it black men's fault? That's the question, right? Well, is it? Because you have a number of black women here trying to gauge, well, it's kind of sort of black men's fault. Well, it's all of black men's fault. Huh. Dear America, dear black America, these are the women that black men share a community with. These are the women that black men share a community with, unfortunately. How do you live in America and yet you don't understand America? Well, maybe actually, Z, you got it wrong. They in America because they're doing exactly what white racist society raised them and taught them to do. Blame the nearest black man. If there's not a black man near, blame black men writ large. So yeah, no, they do understand America, Z. It's you who don't understand America, Z. You're the one who don't understand it. Who doesn't understand it? They do. They're doing the American thing. Blame the nearest black man. Right? Z over here saying you'll never be Miss Cartwright. Actually, she's actually playing her role. She's being the best Cartwright she could be. Blame the nearest black man. That's about right. Right? And y'all give Z 1 second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. Okay, I should be good now. But yeah, so yeah, listening to this so far, shout out to Louis. Jeez, Louis. I think Louis got me beat with peeling the scab, right? I think Louis got me beat with the sadomasochism. I think he got me beat. I think so, right? Um, but yeah, no, it's not, believe it or not, because my bar is in hell now. I've become pretty damn desensitized to this rhetoric. This wasn't the worst. So we're in hell. We're not all the way deep, right? 18 levels deep in hell, right? But we're definitely in hell with this panel. It could be worse, is what Z is saying. It could be worse. As I said before, the question alone, Mr. Z has a problem with. Then the answers scream anti-blackness. It screams like 1 foot in, 1 foot out of patriarchy and feminism, as I said, but also 1 foot in and 1 foot out of community, right? And I think it's about time for Black people to have a conversation about what do you mean by community, right? And Black people actually have a conversation about Black people's autonomy. I'm talking about individual Black people's autonomy. Because the more Mr. Z listens, the more it seems as if Black people want to shed being associated with other Black people and what that means. They want to be seen as an individual, understandable, but that's not how America works. Especially not concerning Black people. Right? So either you mean it or you don't. And listening to these women speak, once again, it's as if they want to have 1 foot in community and 1 foot out. It's if we're going to speak about responsibility to community, do Black women not think they have responsibility to community? If we're going to speak about responsibility to family, do Black women not think they have responsibility to family? Right? What's going on, Louis? Y'all shout out Louis. Right? Huh. And Mr. Shook to you says, and thank you for the super chat, if you're not a follower, then I'm not a leader. Uh-oh. Well, it's if you let these people talk, it's as if they want you to wrestle. It is the clip that BGS played from, what was that, the 70s? When his sister essentially said to the brother, in the 70s, essentially, you're going to have to wrestle the leadership from our hands. Because we're going to get if we could get. Remember her saying that? And that is essentially what these women are saying. You are going to have to wrestle the leadership from our hands. And what you find is a lot of Black men are saying, no, you can have that then. Don't worry about it. And there are some Black women that are saying, fine, great. And there are other Black women that are saying, fine, great, but they don't really mean it. Because they actually expected you to wrestle them for that leadership. No, you can have that. Huh? Mr. Shukti says, if you're not a follower, then I'm not a leader. Exactly. And that's if Black women, these individual Black women, feel as if they want that leader. And for them, it seems as if leadership is the cleanup man. It's the guardrails in bowling. Right? Huh. You live in the 21st century, ladies. You don't necessarily need leaders. Uh-oh. Right? You can vote now. You can have your own bank account. You can drive yourself. Right? You can be pretty self-sustaining if you want to be. But once again, Say it one more, Genzi. Black Enterprise Institute, single Latina and single Black women have the least amount of wealth in America. I don't know about that leadership to yourself thing. Oops. Huh? I need to do a whole stream about that, actually. And From Africa I Came says, can't tell me Afro-pessimism isn't true. I got to do a whole, if y'all never heard of Afro-pessimism, it gets real interesting, right? It's Afro-pessimism. We have these conversations in the barbershop all the time about not just anti-blackness, white supremacy exhibited by white folks, but just about everyone in the society. And Afro-pessimism actually emphasizes the history doesn't necessarily lean in the positive direction. In other words, if you just let things be as they will be, you don't automatically get to a better place just because. Like, history is destined to eventually move in a positive direction. And what I actually appreciate about Afro-pessimism is the Afro-pessimists are like, actually, right? So the Afro-pessimists are kind of like me, and y'all have heard me say this before. The one thing I disagree with Dr. Martin Luther King with is that the arc of justice is long, but it bends towards justice. And Afro-pessimists are like, I don't know about that. Right? Man. And once again, Mr. Shook to you, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Kev C, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you for the super sticker. All right. So yeah, I might have to do a whole separate stream about Afro-pessimism. That might be a stream. That is one where you like need a green gorilla in there, right? A green gorilla, or a funky academic, Armio Se Frimpong, right? Like the philosopher brothers, for real. Because yeah, they're gonna get into some like technical terms and philosophy that Mr. Z is not ready for. Right? So and Afro-pessimism makes a bunch of people cringe because on the surface it comes off very doomer. Very doomer. I don't know if I want to say nihilistic or fatalistic, or maybe a combination of both, right? But it's something that I can grapple with because, once again, I don't believe that the arc of history bends towards justice. I think there are people and times and individuals that help to manhandle the history into a positive direction, right? But I don't know if you just leave things as they are, if you automatically end up in a positive place. And Black Uru says, Dr. King had a great sense of humor. I imagine he would say that justice is a long and winding road. It's man, like, yeah, that Disney-esque Black Uru, that Disney-esque positive ending, no matter what, I think it has ruined a few generations of human beings, especially in the West. Right? I'm not even not just Black people on this one. Like, people in the West, particularly in America, I think the happily ever after type endings of television shows and movies and et cetera, I think it has completely shredded our sense of obligation when it comes to what we deem as not fair, unjust, not right. I think many of us think if we leave well enough alone, either somebody else will do it, or somehow history will figure itself out and move in the right direction just because. And that's not how this works. And not only is it that's not how this works, that's not how it's ever worked. Like ever. Right? So yeah, no, I think that kind of happily ever after, happy ending. What did we learn at the end of different television shows where you tie up the lesson in a nice little bow within 30 minutes of a television show? I think that's completely destroyed our understanding of our role in society and our obligation, to be frank. All right. Our obligation to ourselves, to our families, to our extended families, to our communities, to our nation, to this planet. I think the nice and finish with a nice bow at the end of, like I said, a TV show or a movie or a book, etc., has completely destroyed our understanding of the world, of history, right? Like, think about Europe. Europe went through a dark age for 1,000 goddamn years, practically. Pretty much from the fall of Rome to what? Till about what? 17 something? Well, the Enlightenment period is what? The 1500s, something like that? 16? Isn't it like right after the Black Plague? Right? How long was the Dark Ages? At least a few hundred years, right? At least that's centuries. That's not years. That's not decades. That's centuries. Right? Other people in other places around the world were living pretty okay. East Asia, Africa, certain parts of the Middle East. Right? Huh. So that's a long time of guillotines and swords to the neck and right, and lowborn and high, right, and not looking the monarch in the eye when you speak to them. That's a long time of know your place. And you were born on this farm, and your father was born on this farm, and your grandfather was born on this farm, and your great grandfather was born on this farm, and y'all have been doing the Lord's work. And I don't mean the Lord as in God. I mean the Lord of this land work for a few centuries. That's a lot of years of that, of knowing your place, of not talking back. Ugh. Right? Better uses. Imagine being in that Moor army and getting to Spain only to find funky people. Shaking my head. Tragic, right? Man. Yeah, better use said the same thing. And better uses and forgot how to wash in that time. The Moors had to teach them water won't kill. Trail says Europeans had to be taught not to sleep with livestock and to bathe. Right? Thank you. And Passport OG says the stuff they did during the Inquisition, dear God. I'm telling you. So, and we could tie that to the main topic of, is it black men's fault? When you look at world history, Jesus, different indigenous tribes sacrificing people to the sun god, just sacrificing you to the sun god, and getting off on it. I watched was it a full documentary or maybe a mini doc about Japan, like during the samurai era, And like they had, and Passport OGs in Japan right now, like they had it's a death cult, right? Even like some of the Japanese historians will say like it was a death cult. It was they loved death a little too much. A little too much, just a little too much. We romanticize it now because we see it as honorable, right? Like I've brought shame to the family, I've brought shame to the daimyo, I'm brought shame to. We see it as honorable, but that was straight death. That was straight love of death and honor in dying in a quote unquote honorable way. Oh boy, does that not sound like how many brothers in the hood speak about the hood and like the hood legends? Exactly. You see, Passport OG said the Bushido Code is something else. Is that not? Think about Chicago or Miami or LA or Harlem or Camden or Baltimore or like name the city, Atlanta, where you see, you know, hood violence, New Orleans, and you think about some of the young brothers, especially like middle-aged brothers, when they speak about who used to run it before they got. And that isn't that like very weird, right? See, Chelsea ghetto vets. I'm saying. Exactly. Yep. And Maggie says the Vikings also revered an honorable death. So like that is it. That's why I would disagree with Martin Luther King on that one, right? But as Black Uru said, he could have said that to get to a larger point. But the arc of history is long. But it been towards justice. I don't know, Dr. King. I don't know. You imagine. I couldn't imagine feeling that or thinking that in the middle of like 1273 or something, right? Imagine being a small hat in Spain during the Inquisition. Like, yeah, nah. Right? Nah. So yeah, no. And you consider that while we have a number of Black women participating in this Clubhouse conversation, speaking about where the state of the community is Black men's fault. For any of us that ever saw that PBS documentary on the Black Panthers, and I don't know if you recall this conversation, Black Uru. Me and you spoke about this. Got to be at least a couple years ago, and the Black Panthers that are still alive and that were being interviewed for that documentary. At the end of the documentary, and it was another documentary I watched about something else, and it was a bunch of white folks who were still alive from, I want to say it was the same era, but they had their own anti-government thing going on. But there's a theme here. Both the Black Panthers that were being interviewed that are still amongst us, and the white folks from whatever era it was and what they had going on, both said the same thing. We didn't know the U.S. government was going to come down on us like this. We didn't know they were going to essentially find our weaknesses and exploit them. We didn't know they were going to sabotage us like this. Like the Spider-Man meme, like, you're spying on me. No, you're spying on me. No, you're a spy. No, you're a spy. And they didn't know it was going to be like that. And if I recall correctly, Black Uru, if you remember correctly, and it was one of the realest things in amongst a lot that you've said before, how could they not have known? You can't be a true student of history and not understand going up. And I'm adding extra to what you said, but going up against the U.S. government, how could you not know that? Oh yeah, it's on, right? And there used to be a documentary on Netflix. I don't know if it's still on, called Mississippi Spies, where it spoke to this also, right? Yeah. Wow. And Gabrielle says, Z, when I research your channel via search button, your channel doesn't even come up, even though I subscribed and regularly watch your lives. Um, no, that's just YouTube and the U.S. government. Yeah, I said it. Messing with us over here. They admitted that that's YouTube, and so that means Google by extension. That means Alphabet by extension. They admitted that they do rig the game. We already know that because some of the some men that are affiliated with man-centered content, manosphere, quote unquote manosphere content, they admitted that they're going to be directing a lot of those searches, and young men that want to kind of get a grasp of what's going on in the world right now, the man-woman dynamic, they've admitted they're going to direct those men in healthy masculine type of stuff. So what's the name of that white dude that does the lectures with women about men? I forgot his name. Him. The other feminist friendly white dude with the long hair, or the shoulder length hair, I forgot his name. His name too, like the Mac and Murphy types. So they already admitted that. So yeah, Mr. Z is not surprised, right? Mr. Z is not surprised. Better use it. The feds were the #1 employer. I'm saying, right? Yeah, and exactly. And Black Guru says the white group were called the Weathermen. Some sold out, some got locked up, and some just disappeared. Like that, just like that, just like that, right? Yeah, right. And Carlton Banks says after blacks chose communism, they fell off. Coincidence? I don't know. Maybe we should ask Tricky Dick when he said, sell the blacks on capitalism. You sure you want to do this with me, Carlton? Huh? You know, the president whose nickname was Tricky Dick? And when because this is the early 70s, so there wasn't that many positive stories about black people who didn't come from quote unquote black money from before really even the Civil War. So when they were looking for positive stories, these are white folks looking for positive stories so that the US government could be like, oh, look, black successful people post civil rights. You know what Nixon told them? It doesn't matter, just find feel good stories. Huh? No, this is not about communism or capitalism, to be frank with you. This is about sabotage of black people. Shout out to all of you black wannabe capitalists who are just going to recreate white capitalism within the black community with your capitalism. Right? Y'all ever hear those arguments? Well, y'all let these white folks pay you nothing, so you want to be the one paying us nothing? Y'all okay with white exploitation? Wait, so you want to be the one exploiting us? Say what, Diddy? Oops. Right? Huh? And Carlton says, so following communism in a country based on capitalism was a smart idea. Is it really capitalism? Or is it capitalism for you, capitalism for thee, but not for me? Because if it's truly capitalism, then why do we still have banks that are around only because the US government bailed them out in 2008? And why do we have car companies that only exist only because the US government bailed them out once again in 2008? Is that capitalism? Huh? Is it capitalism to lose a bidding war and then be able to call your US senator and be like, I lost the bidding war, make me win it, or at least tie with the other guy? By the way, I'm not making that up. Jeff Bezos literally did that. That's capitalism? I mean, if we're talking capitalism, is that capitalism? Huh? I'm saying, is it capitalism to have anywhere between 15% to 40% of ghost companies? In other words, they're not profitable, but they're still here in the US. That's capitalism? Huh? Is it capitalism for we already know that the small hats are pushing for TikTok to no longer be here because how viral some of these videos go, and obviously the type of information coming off of TikTok, we know why. But is it truly capitalism that the US government is putting the thumb on the scales for Facebook, for Twitter, for YouTube against TikTok? Is that capitalism? Now we know TikTok is Chinese, and we know tied to the Chinese government. We know how that works. But once again, is that capitalism? Huh? If we're going to speak about capitalism, you have to tell me what true capitalism is, right? I mean, if you want to do the Atlas Shrugged thing, which we're kind of already doing in America, if you really want to do the Atlas Shrugged thing, you got to tell me how that works out. You know, we're kind of living that now, right? I mean, look at the housing market. Oops. Huh? Look at wealth disparity in America, y'all. Carlton, are you sure about this? Huh? Were you paying attention during the well, actually, during the COVID crisis, where that wealth was going? Huh? I mean, is America truly anti-capitalist when? And you mentioned Barack Obama earlier. Actually, let me highlight that comment for you so that we could address that. Let me address that. Wait a minute. Because if you really want to do that, if you want to derail the conversation, fine. I got time. Where's that comment about Barack? Swear you said something about Barack. Wait a minute. Maybe that was a figment of my imagination. Wait. There we go. Barack Obama was part of Weather Underground, another communist. So you're saying Barack Obama is a communist even after he told the banks, I'm would stand between you and the pitchforks, and he chose the bank's side? That's communism, huh? Uh-oh. That's communism? Barack Obama pretty much told black people speaking about reparations, go kick rocks. That's communism. Barack Obama pretty much told the basketball players during the Ferguson riots, not the Ferguson riots, wrong, the George Floyd protests, he pretty much told them, shut up and dribble, because that's communism, right? Uh-oh. You sure Barack Obama's a communist? Huh. Communism. Barack Obama is eating right now. This dude is signing $100 million deals, producer deals, whatever, book deals. That's communism? Thank you. See, Telescope, we saying the same thing. Telescope says Barack Obama hawking books after his presidency is communism. I'm saying. Huh? Thank you. And Maggie says elite capitalism requires a bottom caste and participation of the masses. Huh. Thank you. Black Guru says even as the efforts of black people were sabotaged, there was Never really any really significant number of black people who actively pursued communism. Hell, you almost had to be privileged black person to entertain that notion. How many black people really even understood communism at like the height of the 1970s with the Black Panthers, with certain Black Panther Party members entertaining that? Black was right. You had to be privileged and pretty educated to even know what it was, number one, and then to entertain it, number two. Just saying. Communism, I don't know. Right? Huh. Communism. Barack Obama as a communist. I'm not even a Barack Obama fan, but he ain't communist, that's for sure. Right? You sound like them white folks that said Obama, Osama, it's the same thing, and I'm afraid that he's a Muslim, and that if he becomes president, then he's going to sell the country out to the Muslims. And you're about a decade too late, bro. Right? Actually, more than a decade too late. Huh. Communism. If we're going to, and it's this weird Atlas Shrugged fantasy that y'all be having. I don't know where y'all get this from, especially black people. Aren't black people majority employed by like the U.S. government? I'm just saying. Right? Or like if by government writ large, like by state, local, federal government. You really want to kick black people off of that so they can be out here? Do you want to know why black people work for government the most? Because the private sector is so pernicious and racist. Yes, even in the 21st century, that if you were to kick all black people off of working for local, state, federal government and leave them out here for who? Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk? And the ilk? Who, for Jamie Dimon and them? For the Koch brothers? For Rupert Murdoch? That's what you want to leave black people to? Capitalism, right? No, we could start our own business with what capital? That was the whole point of the quote unquote freedom fund or whatever the black women had going on with those NGOs, right? Because they only capture 1% of advertising revenue. There's an argument to be made there. They have an argument to be made there. I want to be very clear. Yes, we know some of the sisters go to school for BS degrees. Yes, we know many of them don't have business acumen for crap. But capturing only 1% of advertising revenue, yeah, that's anti-blackness, y'all. Let's just be honest. That's not because that many black women are inept at business or knowing what to do at that level. At that level, no. That's just straight anti-blackness right there. And you want those black people to do what? Huh? Yeah. Let me hurt some feelings right now. And Carlton says, you can't be communist without identifying as a victim. Either you are a victim or you aren't. Whether you identify as one or not because your ego won't let you be honest with yourself is a whole different conversation. Number one. Number two, based off of American history, I don't know, over the past 400 years, Carlton, either black people are victims of America or they're not. That's a yes or no question. Can you answer that, please? Based off of American history over the past 400 years, I'll make it easy for you. Over the past 100 years, either black people are victims of America or not. That's a yes or no question. Whether they identify as it or not is a different conversation. Either they are the victims of American history or they're not. I'll wait for your answer. I'm dead ass serious. I'm waiting for your answer. I'm gonna be quiet now. All right, y'all. Y'all could kick Carlton now. I waited for an answer. He had no answer. He just had this. We as victims, the white man holding us back. Yeah. Nope. Yeah. Thank you. Trail says identifying as a victim does not equate to living in victimhood. I want Carlton to understand we have brothers that earn some good money, that are successful, that are good fathers, that are family men. We between Trail and Black Uru and Louis Kanye, we have brothers killing the game right now of life, doing a great job in life. And they will tell you the truth about black people and black men specifically and their position in this society writ large. These brothers are not victims in their own life. But just because they're not victims of circumstance in their own life does not mean that they won't tell you that black people, black men writ large, considering American history, aren't victims. I have multiple brothers that are subscribed to me that earn six figures, both blue collar, white collar, in IT, everyone from KMS to Anubis to Trail, Black Uru. I have young to old. What you trying to say, Carlton? Thank you, Vince. Vince says we also have Henrys also, right? Henrys are short for almost at six figures. We almost there, right? I think when did Kevin put it at? Where was it 70 or 75,000? Moving on up, right? Huh? And Chakra says, what kind of turbos are you running, Z? My Z is stock, actually. So it's the stock turbos. I think they're Garrett's, like baby Garrett turbos, right? Huh. So thank you for that derailment, Carlton. Thank you very much. That let people see a bit of Z's debate skills. I would let you up, but yeah, you ain't coming up. Right. By the way, if y'all don't know, this is what Carlton does, right? And he's had a different name before. So he just goes to different brothers' channels and trolls them with spewing, his conservative rhetoric, which I'm okay with. I have had conversations with conservative. I've had conversations with Obsidian. I'm okay with speaking to conservative brothers, but what you won't do is troll. I'll entertain it only to a certain extent, right? It is insanely fascinating to me. And Black Uru says you cannot have a real presence in American business and government and actually believe that rugged individualism spiel. It's frightening to me that there's people that actually buy into it, black people that actually buy into it. And when you really meet, I'm talking about in real life, but even online, when you meet them, you're like, wait, are you being serious? Or are you like using the rhetoric that like white conservatives want to hear from you? Are you like pulling a Tim Scott or like you really mean it? By the way, I don't think Tim Scott means half of the stuff that comes out his mouth. Yeah. So that like rugged individualism spiel, when you watch government undergird big industry around America, subsidize big industry around America, like agro business, et cetera, et cetera. I mentioned the automotive industry. right? Like, look at the CHIPS Act. That's billions of dollars pouring into chip manufacturing because the US government said, yeah, China could probably attack Taiwan at any minute. So Taiwan has way too much of, they have the ability to produce all of these high end chips, and we are way too dependent on them. So, yeah, let me just, we're going to have to do our own thing. It's going to take us a while to build up the chip manufacturing up to the level of Taiwan, but let's start now. That's the US government undergirding the chip manufacturers in America. 5 years ago, no. Today, yes. Boom. Right? So, yeah, spare me. We're watching it right now. Right? And Louis, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. And Louis say, what's up? You like the intro? The intro is hysterical. Right? And Louis speaking about the intro to his channel where he has like the stoic man voice that introduces you to the effery that's about to be played off of Clubhouse. Right? Huh. Hmm. This is, yeah, that's frightening, um coming across, especially with the subject matter that I'm covering today, right? Black women blaming black men for the state of Black America. And then you have Carlton coming in attempting to derail the conversation with this very myopic view of conservatism, Black conservatism specifically, right? And that's frightening. Huh. Black people can't afford this type of like mindset. It's ahistorical and it's naive, right? It's ahistorical, it's naive, and what it actually does is set your children up to get shredded because of their own ego. I am not about telling black children what they're not capable of, but I'm also not about lying to them about what America is, right? Huh. And the Carltons of the world are perfectly okay because of his ego with sending black children out there thinking everything is fine, and if I just keep my head down and work hard, then I'll be able to achieve at a certain extent. And then those kids actually do go to school and they get good grades, and then they enter their career field and they get looked over or passed over or shredded for the white dude or the white girl. And now what? And that's assuming that they didn't get overlooked in school. We're just gonna put them in the career field. Now what? You're gonna keep on lying to them and telling them, oh, it's because you didn't zig when you were supposed to zag, huh? You didn't have the right cologne on this day. It's because your shoelaces. You were supposed to show up to work early for 2 years straight and you missed one day. That's what you're gonna tell them? What? Once again, Louis, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Eric Deadman, thank you for the super chat. And Eric Deadman says, Z, you finally figured it out. Black women want black men to take all responsibility for the current state of the community, rebuild the community to build to block to Black Wall Street prosperity and hand over leadership to them. There you go. Build me the Ferrari and then give me the keys. Right? Dardar says, I got mine, why can't y'all get yours? That's not how that works, right? That's not how that works. Trell Bentley says, I grew up poor, so broke we couldn't afford the other, or I am blessed to live in America to now be where I am. I have no illusion, though, how my country has put obstacles just because my skin. Yeah, just because of my skin color. Yeah, absolutely. But apparently acknowledging that is somehow like victim, like you playing victim, or you having a victim mindset, or you encouraging other black people, namely other black men, young boys, to have a victim mindset. And that's not the world we live in. Plus, to be honest with you, I think black people need a little bit more rage. And I think we need to stop directing that towards each other, that part. I am not about lying to black people because of their own as a way to motivate them, right? I'm not about prosperity pimp preaching to black people. That's how we kind of got here, to be honest with you. All these delusional ass black people, delusional ass black women, yeah. A whole maybe we have, and I'm not anti Cosby Show, to be honest. I'm not one of the brothers that was like, oh, it's so unrealistic, even though right? Maybe we have too many black-ish shows on TV. I know blackish is not on TV anymore, but right. And they were honest, right? Like wish fulfillment television. You sell black people on wish fulfillment television. Well, how is that working for black people? Uh-oh. Right? What is the majority of black people's current economic state? Before COVID-19, it was the collective black wealth will be zero by 2053. Now we know a lot of that has to do with single moms, and we already know that single black and Latina women have the least amount of wealth in America. So a lot of that have to do with familial um, situations and arrangements, but not all of it. Right? Huh. It is okay to acknowledge black people's current state without blaming them for everything, and then still attempt to encourage them because they don't really have a choice. But this no, it's not the environment, it's you crap. Well, let's see. Even white kids are rebelling against that because even working class white folks are realizing, wait a minute. So let me get this right. Working class white folks are realizing, wait a minute. But yet black people are supposed to be, no, it's me. It's not the system. It's me. Okay. Right. Meanwhile, not just Andrew Yang, Detroit said Andrew Yang addressed that. You literally have NYU professors, Dr. Scott Galloway, even when he's not talking about, male centered stuff, Scott Galloway is straight out. This is an NYU professor telling you straight up, yeah, we screwed the young. We screwed young people. The game is so rigged in our favor as older Xers and boomers, especially white ones. We hoarding all the wealth and all the opportunities, and we're pretty much screwing the youth. Huh? This is a business owner. He said he's been giving back his NYU paycheck for the past 20 years or something like that. He's been giving back his salary for the past 20 years. So if he's to be believed, he's earning money from his own ventures outside of that to the point where he can give back his salary for the past 2 decades. And he's saying, yeah, we screwed the youth. Meanwhile, what the hell are you talking about, Carlton? Huh? Yeah. Right. And telescopes says my kid and her husband are from different races. They know they need to be very careful about which communities are suitable for them and which aren't. Yeah, because you raised somebody to be aware. You ain't lied to your daughter, that's why. And apparently your son-in-law wasn't lied to either. Man, true. And Black Uru says the Cosby Show gets a bad rap. You have to judge it in the context of everything else going on. I agree. I agree. Did Raj beat me to it? Did Raj ever have a Cosby Show breakdown? Right. And once again, Eric Denman, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Because maybe we need to do a Cosby Show breakdown. Yeah, and Charles says Cosby Show was good intentions. I think so. I think so. Right. Right. And KMS says, and thank you for the super chat. I've been in certain rooms, and anyone who gives you the bootstrap speech is either a fool or thinks you're a fool. It's a team sport, bro. Like, we all know that, but then, well, let me take that back. That's not true. That's not actually true. Some of us actually believe the hype. Um, Many of us know that, and yet we are hell bent on selling climb yourself up, pull yourself up by your bootstrap stuff. You ever see those men on the street interviews where the guy sees someone in a nice car, an expensive car, and he asks them, what do they do for a living? Or like, how did they get to where they are? And you do hear some of them telling you, like, I grind from the bottom. I started off, 9 to 5 this way, and I only earned like $3 an hour or something crazy. But many of those, like way more than you would like to believe, well, we're black, so it's probably in line with what we actually think. Of those interviews, it's I'm a hedge fund manager. I have a hedge fund. I do this. I trade stocks this way. It's all of that type of work, but it's also, yeah, I'm essentially a trust fund baby. Or for the women, I'm married into money. There's a lot of I'm married into money for the women, like a lot, especially for the white women, of course. Huh. Passport OG says, what is stopping black women from making a better show than the Cosbys? They would have to be honest if they're trying to be realistic. And the average black woman is not living Real Housewives of Atlanta or whatever the hell. The average black woman is earning some 30 some odd $1,000 a year, is a single mom, and is barely making it. And I'm all for seeing that television show, to be honest with you. If it's going to be realistic, the average black woman has like 2 kids from 2 different dudes, is earning maybe $45,000 a year if they're going to be generous on the television show, and is like barely making it. Right? Now, if they're going to sell you on wish fulfillment television, then they're going to sell you on Blackish. Right? Which I'm not opposed to either. I just think having shows like that in a vacuum helps to cause more and more black people to be delusional. And what makes it even more frightening is, think about the Cosby Show being on television in the 80s before a real big flood of black immigrants. So the problem with Blackish is that it sells a black lifestyle to non-black people, but also to black immigrants and their children. And I would argue it distorts the actual narrative of black people and what the masses of black people are actually living. Right? So that's a problem. Okay, I'm still here. I'm back. Right. That's a problem. Right. And to what KMS is saying, like KMS, I'm not nowhere near the level you're at, or when I was white collar. But being in white collar spaces, you know, bro, the nepotism is punching you in the face. And it may not necessarily be familial nepotism, but like the nepotism because this is my friend or my friend's uncle or like some type of that type of relation is what got me in the door, punches you in the face, right? And like certain people, when they mess up, if it's not absolutely catastrophic, the fact that they're still there or they're given chances that someone else without that type of nepotism backing them also punches you in the face. Like this person's still here. They made what type of mistake? Right? They did what? They said what? Right? Yeah. And Black Uber says the only real criticism I have for the Cosby Show was it was often very feminist, if not outright gynocratic. But I guess beggars can't be choosers. Yeah. Oh, beggars can't be choosy. Yeah. 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 Not just you, Saint Cyr. Me too. Right. And that Saint Cyr says, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of my job is off of the strength of nepotism in that form, but I have good work ethic, so my work is unquestionable. Same thing. Same thing. Right. Right. I don't know about everybody else, but I am not about lying to black people about the environment, especially adult black people. Like the encouragement to the youth and the you can make it if you try and like keep your head down, bust your ass. Like under the age of 25, I'm all about that. I am all about that, especially if you're going in the right direction. I'm not gonna hit you with a 10 tons of doomerism to discourage you. I am not about that, especially once again, if you are headed in that direction anyway. I'm not gonna hit you with the quote unquote real and discourage you. That's not smart. Now, on the other side of that, 26, 27, 28 years old, even earlier, if you mess it up, oh no. No, somebody got to tell you what this world really is. Right? And Black Uru says cronyism is the friend companion to nepotism, right? Well, when you find out who's married to who, right? When you find out who's friends with who, you find out what Chelsea Clinton's husband served. No, sorry, excuse me, said that wrong. Chelsea Clinton's father-in-law, so her husband's father, served what prison time or jail time for fraud or something like that. Jared Kushner's dad, same thing, because he tried to blackmail his sister through finding his brother-in-law, either soliciting or he tried to plant a woman on his brother-in-law and then use that to blackmail his sister when he was being investigated. Bruh, what? Like these are the people that Carlton is comparing us to and that we need to be more like. Huh? We ain't even gonna talk about the Clintons, goddamn. Look at Hunter Biden, everyone. This is a 50-plus-year-old man child. Dude don't know nothing about nothing, but yet he's on the board for some crap for Ukraine getting paid what, $750 a year? $750,000 a year? A man child with a nose problem. Wait a minute. Trump is a man child with a problem too. Where he may not be playing with his nose though. Trump is a what? A 80-something-year-old man child? Huh. Y'all ever really pay attention to these people that they compare us to that we should be like? Mark Zuckerberg's ethics is what? When you find out how they were operating Facebook, the problems they know Facebook causes to the youth and to women and to girls, et cetera, and they don't give a F. Huh? That's who we supposed to be like? Like Elon Musk? Are you serious? I see a whole lot of women talking about Nick Cannon and Future and how many baby mamas they have and how many women they have kids with. I ain't hear y'all say nothing about Elon Musk though. Huh? Oh, he's not quite 80, but too damn close. Terrell said not quite 80, but too damn close. Talking about Donald Trump. Exactly. And Namus says Hunter's late brother Bo Biden was the smart and sensible one. Hunter is more than a man child. Hunter slept with Biden, but let's call a thing. Name it. Hunter slept with Bo Biden's widow. Uh-oh. If y'all didn't know, by the way. Yes, Hunter. Yes, you heard right. Hunter Biden, when Bo Biden passed away, Hunter Biden, yes, Bo Biden's younger brother, was out here with the widow. Left his wife to be with Bo Biden's widow. Oh, yeah, you heard that right. And then left Bo Biden's widow to be with some woman in her 20s. Somebody tell me I'm lying. I'll wait. Huh? Black Uru, we're not even going to talk about Barney Frank and them. For all of you that remember Barney Frank. Goddamn. Lispy and Rainbow and Chubby out here with male streetwalkers, we'll say. Got caught, got investigated by Congress, and they dropped the case. I wonder, why would Congress drop a case against a Congress member that knows everything about everyone? And remember, the conservatives dropped the case too. I wonder what do you think Barney Frank got on Republican Congress members, that Senate and House? What do you think he know? For him to have a streetwalker living with him, he's piping the streetwalker and the streetwalker's friends. He gets investigated by Congress and they drop the case against him. I wonder what the hell he had on everybody else. So that's funny. And Cheryl said, but Elon is African American. Yes, you're right. Elon is an Afrikaner. Yes, you're right. That's funny. Huh? We all know. We all know. Oduduwa says, and let me know if I pronounce your name correctly. They found coke in the White House, and it was Hunter. They dropped the case. They didn't. Did they ever confirm it was Hunter? We know it was Hunter, but that's not the point. Did they ever confirm it was Hunter though? Right? You mean Cheney with his duck goose? Look at that! I accidentally shot my friend in the face when we were hunting what, pheasants? Right? This dude had to be the most gangster person in the U.S. at the time. Probably still is. This you shot him in the face, with a pellet gun or something like that, a BB gun essentially. You shot him you shot your quote unquote friend in the face, and then he apologized to you for getting in the way. Oh man, if that's not gangster, I don't know what rappers are talking about, because Dick Cheney, right? Man, Dick Cheney, man, talk about gangster. There's a whole lot of gangster stuff that these people get on with. You know it. Black Guru says Barney had the glory hole intelligence data on the so-called conservatives. You already know. Right? You already know. Terrell said Darth Cheney. Didn't he pop up at one of his lectures, or like one of his it was somewhere he was, and they said they call him Darth Vader. And I was like, bro, that ain't something to brag about, Darth Vader. Where did he pop up? Was it like PNAC? For those of you that don't know, Project for a New American Century. He popped up at somewhere. It might have even been APAC. He popped up somewhere, and he was like kind of bragging about that. Dude, that's not something to brag about. Say that. And Nema says, how many medical procedures has Dick Cheney undergone to stay alive? If he really is like Darth Vader, though. Because does he have a pacemaker also? Hey, Detroit, one of the rumors about Poppy, that passed away a few years ago, was that he was in Texas when Kennedy was pew-pewed. I'm saying this on purpose this way. It doesn't even matter, really, if you really think about it. We already on the list. But yeah, rumor in the rumor mill is, I don't know how true that is, but a rumor in the rumor mill is that he was there that day. Right? If we got to put on our tinfoil hats, the rumor in the rumor mill is that yeah, he was there. Now, did he do anything? Was he part of the pew pew team? I ain't saying. I don't know, right? Clearly, but the rumor is that he was in town that day. He just happened to be in town that day. That's why when what's her name was on the plane, she did not want to be next to the next in line that became president. I'm saying it like this for a reason. And she didn't say she didn't say he killed my husband or someone killed my husband. She said they killed my husband. Look it up if you doubt me. She said they killed my husband. Right? And then you see what she did. She took her ass to Britain and got married to Onassis. Right? Trail, hey, I'm not saying, I'm just saying. right? I'm not saying, I'm just saying, right? That's why when I talk about like black male, black women relations or lack thereof, like all of these things are playing in the back of my mind. That's why I don't have the same visceral anger at black women that I see black women have for brothers, because they're not thinking about all these things. Like, bro, you're just a kid throwing a temper tantrum. Unfortunately, we're attached to you, so we got to feel the kicks and the yells and the screams and the. But you're too cowardly to really go at the reason why you're in the position you're in, right? But I know what empowers you and who empowers you. Like, actually, when I say that, I don't mean like individually actually know the people, but let's be very clear who you are. You are the colonizing agent. They gave you that. They put you in that position for a reason. Whoever the days are. And Black Guru says Cheney had his first heart attack in his 30s and had several after that. For that dude to still be alive is proof that there is some sort of alien technology running loose here. I'm saying. Hey, better you says the apple don't fall far from the tree. Cough, cough. Prescott. Prescott was another one, right? Him and Joe Kennedy out here trading war bonds and stuff like that for World War II because they both were sympathizers of the short mustache man. Oops, name it. Tell me I'm lying, right? Somebody tell me I'm lying. Both of them were supporters of the short mustache man. I wasn't supposed to say that out loud. Because Joe Kennedy was supposed to be the next up. He fumbled the bag because he was a supporter of the short mustache man when he was ambassador in the UK. And so it went next to JFK's older brother. He died in World War II. So then it was next up was JFK. Somebody tell me I'm lying. If Joe Kennedy then fumbled the bag, he might have been the first Kennedy president. But he was a supporter of the short mustache man. That's why they recalled him. That's why they called him back to the US, for those of you that don't know. Oh yeah, we know that, right? And Nemesis, you can add Henry Ford to that list, right? Say that. Uru says, Black Uru says, Onassis was one of the few people on Earth who could buy off enough of the right people to keep her and the kids alive. See? Man. Huh. Oh, see, I didn't know that though. Okay. And Nemesis, for the record, that Joe Kennedy Sr. and Jr. respectively. In other words, JFK's older brother was a supporter of the short mustache man also. See, I never knew that. That I didn't know. Right? Yeah. And KMS is, and thank you for the super chat once again, KMS. And KMS is, Miracle, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Also, America, you do own a bootstrap company, right? Like what? It's funny because it's true. It's funny because it's true. That if you are doing well in life, I don't think there's any other place better than these United States to live. Right? Whether you want to live on the beach in Hawaii somewhere, whether you want to live on the island of Manhattan in a super condo, whether you want to come down here to South Florida and live on Star Island, right? Whether you want to live on one of the numerous kind of small islands that dot the East Coast somewhere, whether you want to live somewhere in the Midwest, kind of away from everyone, whether you want to do what Dave Chappelle did and just buy a big ass house in the middle of nowhere in Ohio, if you are doing well in the US, oh boy, right? Yeah. Huh. Just saying. And Black Bruce says a lot of so-called capitalists supported Mr. Fuhrer, short mustache man. Hell, at that, at least half of the Nazis' artillery, couldn't get the word out, were built in Ford factories. That's why they put out that FDR put out that law that was like, yo, you when we go to war with these people, and that's why they were doing a lot of this stuff in secret, wink, wink, nod, nod. You can't support none of them over there, right? Not um not Mussolini, not Mr. Short Mustache Man, and not the one in Japan. And yet they still found them working with those people or doing business with those people or creating things for those people, right? Huh. Um, Namer, what was the name of the royal in Britain that was a short mustache sympathizer? And didn't one of them actually work for him? Right? Wasn't there one of the royals, like a cousin or something like that, that was part of his like close circle? Man, if y'all World War II is crazy, but World War One was literally a battle of cousins. Hey, like when you look at those wars in Europe, it's just it was literally like family members sending soldiers to die on their behalf. Especially World War One. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Prime Minister Neville was the appeaser. That's how he's always put in history, right? Especially compared to Winston Churchill. They make him look like a weasel next to Winston Churchill, right? Yeah, man. Franco in Spain, he was a supporter of him too. Yeah, and Dardar says, not surprising, the mustache man learned most of what he did from America. Yeah, that's true, by the way. That's true, right? Hmm. Grab Second Gear says a bunch of American companies supported fund that man, etc. History is very important. A lot of people don't know that, and it's not often said. Not only they don't even know was it Operation Paperclip when they took a bunch of the scientists after the fact, right? Cleaned up their record and then bought them over to the U.S. That's how you even got the atomic. Well, not the atomic bomb. What other technology did you get coming out of that era right after World War II? Because they brought those soldiers over here. A lot of rocket technology, a lot of that stuff, right? Wasn't that Operation Paperclip, or I'm mistaking the name for something else? Thank you, Hitflix. That's how you got NASA trailed rocket science. Better you rockets. I'm saying they don't want you to know that history. Well, they don't care if we know that history, us. But I don't think they want most Americans to know that history. Definitely not black people, right? Huh? And Carlton over here talking, man, if you don't stop. And once again, KMS, thank you for the super chat. Detroit says, getting degrees, and thank you for the super chat, getting degrees with student loan debt is a scam, even though government is capitalism of your financials. I actually do think a certain level, base level, because the bachelor's degree is the new high school diploma. So I do think that government should fund it. I said it. Right. I think we're stratifying America way too much. You can't sell the quote unquote American dream and then allow for it to become too damn stratified. And that's pretty much where we are now. Because what you end up doing is demotivating your young people, too many of them. And you bring about a kind of neo-feudal society. Whether you're going to call it that or not is a different conversation, but that's what it's going to be effectively. Right? Huh. Oh, okay. And Black Guru says, by the way, it was the assassination of Bobby, not Jack Kennedy, that prompted Jackie to marry Onassis. After Bobby was killed, it was clear to her they were after all the Kennedys. Yeah. And his assassination, I think, doesn't get as much light also because how you get killed by somebody? What was his name? Sirhan or something like that, supposedly. But when you look into that story, like Bobby was pretty much a shoo-in. And they even let him, they was like, bro, you ain't learned a lesson from your brother? But we ain't even gonna let you touch the White House. Right? Like you were what, Attorney General when your brother was president. Y'all were over here ping-ponging Marilyn Monroe, your damn family, and you think we're gonna let you become president? While, by the way, wasn't Teddy in Congress by that time? So we just gonna let you think you're just gonna recreate this and what was it? Bury the man, continue to plan after JFK? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Right? Huh. And Better You says, yes, it was Sirhan. I want to say JFK was got by Jack Ruby, who was got right outside of the goddamn, what, courthouse or jail right after. We're going to make sure you can't talk, player. Y'all remember when the Joker had all those people just murk each other one after the other? I'm just saying. Y'all better stop playing with this U.S. government, bro. God damn. Bro barely made it out of the goddamn, what was it, a courthouse or was it the prison? And they got him. We'll tie up all of the loose ends after the fact, okay? Okay. God damn. Man. I'm saying. Better You said Jack got shot in custody. What? You see this game? And that's white folks doing that to other white folks in the U.S. What you think they do to black people? Goddamn blowing up the goddamn move office. Going in and murking 21-year-olds. Right? Fred Hampton was 21. What they put C4 in front of move? What? Man. And the girl said, happy birthday, Mr. President. Been my family here. Oh man, it couldn't be Mizzy, because me and Marilyn Monroe would have got these foot and these hands. Hands and feet on both of us. She would have been out here like Lionel Richie ex-wife. Oops. but Mizzy would have been like, oh, wait a minute, what? In my face? Oh, man. Indigo killed me. Man, my family here. Marilyn Monroe was out here, man. Ping pong with how are you brothers? Brothers, lady. Brothers. I'm saying. Okay, it's the other way. Okay. All right. And better use is actually it was Oswald that shot Kennedy. Ruby shot Oswald and then got shot. Man. Once again, the scene from Batman with Joker. You shoot him, he shoot you. You shoot him, he shoot. Oh. Man. And once again, Detroit, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. And KMS says, and thank you for the super chat. Tell them, Black Roo, tell them, once you get to a certain elevation, it's professionally incestuous as hell. They all know each other and are teamed up. Merit is for the proletariat. There we go. Yes. If you don't know that already, people. By the way, that does not mean that you still don't do. I mean, there's Better You and there's KMS and there's Black Uru who are examples of that, right? There's Shrell and there's a number of brothers in my that are subscribed to me that are examples of that. But being ignorant to the game, oh boy, talk about heartbreak. Uh-oh. Lion said Lori Harvey followed in Jackie Kennedy's footsteps with Diddy. With Diddy and his son. Ooh. Huh. I'm saying. Right. And thank you for the super chat once again, KMS. And Detroit says, did Dick Cheney shoot somebody while he was a senator or vice president? I think it was, wasn't it right when he became vice president? I don't think he was a senator. I think he was already vice president. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, if y'all remember. I think he was already vice president. I don't think it's when he was a senator. Right? Huh. Better You. Better You says Detroit. Got to be alive to go to trial. Oh, man. Hey, it's the game. This is the game, y'all. Meanwhile, Carlton over here talking crap in my comment section, and then black women are talking about whether it's black men's fault, the current condition of the black community. You see what these white folks do to each other? What? And we ain't even scratched the surface. We even talk about the operation where they were trying to get FDR the hell up out of here because they felt like he was messing with their business deals and their money. We ain't even talk about that. Huh? And he had to negotiate with them after he found out. By the way, remember, we're talking about the president of the United States of America. America was already the most powerful nation in the world at the time. And he got to negotiate with businessmen that he caught trying to plot against him and literally get him deleted. That's the country you're talking about. And black women over here talking about having a conversation on whether it's black men's fault, the current state of the black community. Man, if you don't get the entire hell out of here. That's the real. That's the America you live in. Rumor has it That's your first, well, he may not have even been your first not white. Rumor has that. But your first officially not white president might have been doing some rainbow stuff back in the past. And the person that was going to expose him, the ex lover, well, uh-oh. What they said about dead men can't talk? I'm saying the first man the Mr. Saxophone player, there was rumors about him also and what he was up to when he was in that southern state as governor. I'm purposely not saying the state, even though we know who the hell I'm talking about. Yeah, and the people that would go expose him, well, man, y'all better find out what country y'all live in. Louis, of course, right? Louis says, "Can I pimp my channel?" Of course, of course. Huh? Y'all know how this game goes. Man, better find out. Y'all think Putin the only one getting people the hell up out of here? Okay. Or BB Netanyahu is the only one getting people out of here? Nope. You better find out. Huh? There's even rumors about, we're putting our tinfoil hat back on. The last junior, we'll say, for those of you that understand where Mr. Z is going, you already know what I'm gonna mention. The reason why his plane fell out the sky is because he was going to run. And he was going to run against W, and he probably would have won. I remember hearing that forever ago. I don't know how much I believe it, but I don't doubt it. Let's put it that way. It's better yet, it's not too far out of the realm of possibility. That's how I should phrase it. Right? So it might be some tinfoil hat stuff, definitely, but it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. Right? I'm saying. Better Use says, it kind of makes me think Tricky Dick might have been a somewhat honest dude. Big Bush who would have sent flowers to his fam. I'm saying. True. But Uru says, notice how quickly both parties got together to sabotage a social media platform they could not control. That is an example of the real American freedom and democracy. Man, come on. Right? And y'all check out the link right here to Louis' channel. Right? If you're not subscribed and you like being a sadomasochist like me and Louis, y'all go ahead and check out Louis' channel. Right? I'm gonna leave that up for a little bit. But yeah, Black Lulu, yeah, absolutely. Of course, they're trying to get TikTok out of here. And you see what they're doing to us on YouTube. They admitted that they're going to curtail the traffic to these type of conversations and direct them to more quote unquote healthy masculinity. They admitted that. They just straight up admitted that. And I've had conversations with brothers in private about our numbers and our subscriber base and et cetera, right? And we're not crying over spilt milk. Let me say it again. We're not crying over spilt milk. There we go. But it is something to take note of. And we understand why, right? And if we had any doubt, well, they confirmed it when they admitted that they're going to redirect traffic from spaces like these to more healthy spaces. And then FD out here speaking about how quickly he built his channel in how short of amount of time. Bruh, stop. They're admitting why that's happening. Huh? So when I say that you're in your echo chamber, after you tell me I'm in my, we're in our echo chamber, and I say, no, you're in your echo chamber, one of us is right. Right? One of us is right. And YouTube, Google, and Alphabet, and the US government, to be frank, is showing us which one of us is right. Right? Huh. So there's that. And Line says, Louis, I appreciate your work, but for the sake of my sanity, hysterical, I can't listen to those rejects complain about a community that claim to be the backbone, that they claim to be the backbone of, but want to blame their supposed substand. Wait. But I get what you're saying. Yeah. But they're trying to blame their quality of life on, but they're supposed to be the backbone of. Yep. Yeah, Line, healthy spaces. Yeah. Healthy masculinity. And you hear a lot of these academic types, whether they're like hardcore content creators or not, speak about this now, like healthy relationships, healthy spaces, healthy masculinity, healthy. And you hear Dr. Chris Marsh say that's the PhD lady that has the book about being single, the Black woman. You hear FD saying this now. You hear different academics or academic types kind of emphasize this healthy, and they're the arbiters of what healthy should be. Right? Healthy spaces, healthy masculinity, healthy relationships. Oh boy. Right? So on that note, everyone, right, we will pause right here. I wasn't supposed to go this long, you guys. We will pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. It looks like Roger's streaming right now, so y'all go check out the Roger Report. Mr. Z will pause right here. Yeah, man, like I said, Black women, and I'm gonna finish listening to what you got, Louis. I only got about a little over 45 minutes in. I'm gonna listen to the rest of it. It seems to be an interesting conversation, to be honest with you, but I think the question is a little off, and I think the answers are definitely off, because at least at the 47-ish minute mark that I paused, I still didn't hear nobody address, the dominant society and their impact. They're really having a conversation. How much of this is Black men's fault? What? The current state of the Black community, right? And at best, what they're saying, it's not all Black men's fault. Black women are somewhat culpable. That's what I'm hearing so far, right? Man. And Black Uru says, talking with women is good for attracting other delusional women and thirsty men. And thirsty men. Just don't expect to get any real substantial truth to be told at work to be done. Yeah. And Louis says, I have a premiere at 1:00 p.m. Louis got another one coming up. Right. So let me hurry up and finish what I'm listening to now, and then I'll check out what you got coming up later. But yeah, Louis, good, as usual, brother, good work. Bro, I think both of us are gonna have to get checked in to a therapist. Or we're gonna mess around and have to be put in the goddamn psych ward, messing with these women, listening to their absolute foolishness. Right. But on that note, y'all, and Black Uru will let Black Uru end down. He says, FD is a peddler of gynocratic filth. Hey, I agree. On that note, y'all, we will pause right here. Truly, y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Y'all go check out Louis' channel. Y'all go check out the Roger Report. He's streaming right now, and I don't think Dr. Thunder is still streaming, but we'll end it out here. All right, y'all. Mr. Z out.